Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this CSJ podcast, Musings of an INFJ, and this is your host, Coach Jay. And we'll just take a few minutes and talk about coaching. More importantly, or more specifically, type verification. I had the opportunity this morning to spend some time with a member of the community doing some type verification. He was from Ukraine, which, by the way, is one of the most awesome things about our community and about being able to be a coach, and that is to meet such great people from all over the world. I mean, in my coaching practice so far, we mentioned Ukraine. I've gotten to know people from Thailand, Indonesia, Sweden, Great Britain, and of course, all over the United States. And I just think it's fantastic. I like very much getting to know people, spending some one-on-one time with them, and just learning about their lives and sharing hopes and dreams and what they hope to obtain through a verified typing session, which more often than not includes a little coaching on top of that, because folks want to start thinking about their type in terms of, okay, next steps, relationships, work, career, education, those kinds of things. So it's really great, and I really love it. And as I've said before, just grateful to Chase for the opportunity to do this and work with him in this endeavor. But about typing and about verified typing, the thing comes to mind is several years ago, a long time ago, I had actually gotten into some handwriting analysis as a hobby, and I thought it was fascinating. There are characteristics of personality that come through in a person's handwriting, and one event that is very memorable when I was doing that, and really applies to the topic here today, is a coworker of mine. I had done a couple of handwriting analyses for some folks at work, and she had heard about it, and she came to me and said, Jay, can you assess my handwriting and tell me a little bit about myself? And I said, well, sure. So I said, this is what I need you to do. I need you to just, in cursive, write a paragraph. I don't care if you copy it out of a book or it's just something freestyle you want to. The words are not important, but it's got to be in cursive. And then I need a signature, just however you write your signature. The reason the signature is important, separate from the rest of it, is because the signature is how people want to portray themselves to the world, and sometimes it's different than who they really are, and that's telling in and of itself, because folks want to give a persona, let's say, to others. They want to hide who they really are. So you can normally see this, and you can do it yourselves. If you look at their writing in cursive and then look at their handwriting, their signature, if they are markedly different, then that tells you that with their signature, they're not wanting to show necessarily who they really are. Anyway, that's a little bit of a side note, but it is related. So back to this coworker. So she said, yeah, she would do that. Went home that night, prepared her writing sample, brought it back to me the next day. And I looked at it, and I busted out laughing because she had obviously spent a lot of time making sure that her handwriting was perfect In other words, if you remember like third or fourth grade maybe when you learned how to write in cursive, and you remember maybe the examples of how every letter, capital and non-capital, were written. I mean, her handwriting was perfection. And I laughed because I looked at her and said, all right, what are you trying to hide? And she said, what? I was like, I need to see your handwriting. I can't tell anything about you other than you're trying to hide something from me by giving me this sample. So go do it again. Anyway, so she did, and she was still, she still wasn't totally, let's say, forthcoming. But that in and of itself says something about her. She's a great woman, don't get me wrong, but it's just how we are sometimes, how people are. Anyway, so how does that relate to typology and verified type? Well, it's the same kind of thing. I mean, I've been guilty of it, frankly, is that, when well, a lot of people take personality tests over and over again. It's like, for some reason, some people don't believe their initial assessment, or they think, well, it was a bad day, maybe it's not right. And sure, verification is important, I get that. It's very important. But when you get to a point and you're retaking a test or multiple tests of different types 10, 20, 30 times, what does that say? Also, in that process, you learn how to take the test. You learn to be able to manipulate to get the results that you want. And that's why I say I'm guilty of it, because there was a time where several years ago, I was taking a few tests, and I realized that, if I answered this particular question in this certain way, I'd get a different result. So I could manipulate, and that's part of the reason why I actually started to doubt my own type. And when I found Chase in the CSJ community, what was that? Almost 3 years ago now, that I was kind of unsure. Now, for me, I'm one of the ones who, when I took the original official MBTI, and it was given to me professionally by an outplacement firm with the company I worked at the time, it typed me correctly, INFJ. But in the intervening years, like I said, I learned, what if that wasn't right? What if I was biased? And so I started taking different tests and whatnot. Most of the time I got INFJ. I started to get INFP, and that caused me some concern. And then, of course, ultimately found Chase and I had my type verified by him. All that being said is, well, when people come into a verified typing session and they've taken the test or a test that many times, and when they understand all the concepts, principles that Chase has taught, as well as others, they learn how to answer the questions. They learn how to manipulate to get what they get, and I think that contributes to their own indecision, is because they've been so they're not sure of their own answers, if that's fully representative, and and maybe that's a form of bias. bias certainly is something to deal with, and in typing sessions, we talk about that up front, is everybody has a personal bias. A lot of people, we shall not name types, but want to be a type other than what they really are, because they see that's maybe it's something they aspire to. Maybe for them it's something special. Maybe it's because they don't like their own type. Whatever the reason, people a lot of times want to come in and they just don't want to accept maybe their type, and they come in with a bias, a personal bias around those lines. And another thing, we don't see ourselves the way other people see us. And so the independent verification, having somebody else verify our answers, goes a long way to getting type right. I had another client who I was, we were doing a verified typing session, and she, in her heart of hearts, she knew what type she was. She didn't want to accept it, and to this day she doesn't. It's not that she doesn't want to accept it. She continues to question it, and one of the reasons is she sees the type as having characteristics, or maybe there's expectations around it that she's afraid of. When you are told you are of X type, it's not like a new job or a promotion, or something that, I got these new responsibilities that I have to. No, that's backwards. It's backwards. You are who you are. When you come into a verified typing session and when you leave, you are this exact same person. Doesn't matter what type you are identified as. I mean, the type is just confirming who you already are. It's not giving you something that's not you, all right? If you know what I mean. It's not like, suddenly you're telling me I'm a, I don't know, pick a type. INFJ, okay, we're here, musings of an INFJ. You're an INFJ, and suddenly you have to figure out, you think, I'm the tip of the spear. What does that mean? No, it's not like that. But what typing is once you know your type, then you can look at yourself and say, okay, this is correct. I have these challenges. This is why I have these challenges. These are my strengths. How can I put them to good use now that I know how my entire self works together, relates together? We talk about cognitive functions, their orbits, their axes, the four sides of the mind, all that. So it's now the context, let's say. I actually responded to, I think it was a question on Quora the other day. It was all about, type, having type puts me in a box. Well, no, it doesn't. And I don't even really want to go into that right now. But my response to him was that, okay, the cognitive functions, your four sides, your type, your disposition, your communication style, all those things, they're really like a setting or a stage, let's say. They're the lighting and the backdrop and maybe the props or furniture on the stage. They're the context in which you live your life. And so it's kind of sets the stage, or is the stage. And then your life, how you go about your life, is the performance, how all that manifests itself. And so it's just the beginning in that regard. It's the setting, the foundation. And but it's who you are in terms of having a point of understanding and then knowing, how do I move forward? How do I create my story? How do I write my life now that I understand these dynamics? So I guess the point here is that when you come into a verified typing session, and I hope all of you do at one time or another, if nothing else, you may know your type, and maybe it's more a coaching session, whatnot. But regardless, what I hope you do, and what I actually expect you to do, is to come in and show me your true self. Be honest. Don't try to manipulate. Don't try to be something that you're not. I mean, you're spending good money, and you're, and I would think if you're going to do all this, you want a good result, because knowing your type can drive some very good decisions about all aspects of your life. So come in open-minded, come in with a desire to get the best or the right outcome, let's say. But in order to do that, you've got to be truthful. You've got to be open, and let me help you figure that out. You know, in typing sessions, everything's confidential, and we won't talk about anything that you don't want to. Now, I may probe a little bit, but we're not going to talk about anything that you don't want to. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but and that's really part of my responsibility, is to help you feel comfortable and help you feel like you can share. That's what I want for you, is a good result, an accurate result. But I can only type what you present to me. And if you're presenting a false persona, let's say, I mean, why come in the first place? Just because you want to be a certain type doesn't mean you are. And just because I may pronounce you a certain type because you're answering questions or presenting yourself in a certain way, that does not mean you're that type. It means you fooled me. Okay? It means you fooled me. You can't escape who you are. And so then once we identify who you are, then you got to own it. No more taking another 30 tests. I mean, if you're not confident enough in the result, then that I give you, well, you know, we have other ways of doing some independent verification, but you shouldn't have to go and continue taking tests to verify whether you're this type or that. I mean, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And once you can settle and accept who you are, the world opens up. It opens up. And suddenly you're free to do so much. And you're armed with knowledge and how to be successful in that. So anyway, I didn't want to make this a commercial for verified typing or coaching or anything like that, and it's certainly not my intent if it's coming across that way. What I did want it to be is for those of you who are thinking about it, and certainly for those of you who have been through verified typing, or if you're just out there taking tests, you're uncertain. is be honest with yourself. Don't be like the woman at the that worked with me when I did the handwriting analysis, or tried to, and she gave me uh, perfect handwriting that tells me nothing, and it didn't tell her anything. And in typing, personality typing, here you'll get the same result. You come in and you're not willing to be honest with yourself, with me, and recognize biases, then maybe save your money, at least until a time that you are. Anyway, yeah, we want to help everyone find the right type, because that's what it's all about, and society will be better as a result. If you want to do verified typing, of course, as I've said before, go to csjoseph.life. You can find our coaching session, sign up for coaching or verified typing. If you're not ready for that, and you want to take a test or an assessment, we obviously have Discover, and it's a great tool for you as well. But again, you've got to be honest with yourself if you're going to take that, and certainly get some others to help you verify, so you can avoid some of that personal bias. Anyway, I'm going to try and bake a pie this afternoon. Been a long time. I'm going to give it a shot. I'll let you know how it goes. Bye, everyone.
What's up, Ego Hackers? Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button below. That would be the dopest. Also, if you want to see similar videos to this video, just click on any of the videos that you see here so you can go check those out as well. And if you have not taken our personality test to find out your type, please do so at csjoseph.life/discover.